know that student selection is more focused on originality, creativity, traits of leadership, communication, and just basically they're looking for a well-rounded overall person, and not just specialization in one skill. Alright, so yeah, I'm sure everyone agrees that the point of life is to find happiness and sort of achieve happiness, just basically working towards happiness. And popular belief around here is that good grades equals good GPA equals a good college equals your job, a good job, equals a lot of money, and equals happiness. But then that's kind of, you can't equate life into one formula. Like it's not, life's not an equation, and even you can't equate life into one formula. And even if you do, it's like there's not one specific equation that defines and drives your life to the entire thing. So yeah, look at these guys. Bill Gates dropped out of high school, and right now he's kind of pretty much the richest guy in the world. And the other guy there, Mark Zuckerberg, some of you might know that he created Facebook, one of the most, actually the most well-known social networking site. And what you might not know is that he dropped out of college, and he basically didn't have a degree. But then, like, don't get me wrong, because assignments and tests are important. Actually, I won't even say tests, because the word test sounds like there's like some sort of consequence if you fail. But that's kind of not true. It should be assignments and assessments are not like, it's not that they're not important. It's like assessments are assessing what you're doing and how you're progressing in your learning process, and that's what it should be, because that's they should just serve as an informant to tell you where you are in your own personal learning career and how you're progressing through the subject. And it's kind of sad that, like, today people are, at least in India, people are moving away from that concept. Here in India, a lot of schools promote rote learning, and they don't learn to learn. They sort of just learn to get a job, pretty much. Plus if I'm not mistaken, there's like only one final exam, and if you get good grades on that, then you're kind of done, and you're kind of through with life. So, but then consider this, for instance, like, suppose there's two guys, and one has like, he was like a straight A student, and he went through college with scholarships, and he had, even there he had straight A's, and there's another guy, yeah, just forget the cool guy, and when he was in college, he didn't really focus on grades so much, and he focused instead on, getting to know teachers and getting internships and getting, maybe even started a business at college, and maybe like he had some experience. And the question, if I was an employer and I had to pick between like a guy who has straight A's and like he has nothing but straight A's on his resume, or a guy who's kind of an average student but then has experience and shows signs of ambition, that's no choice at all. So even PhD holders, like doctors, and even they agree to this. And there's a quote that says 80% of first-year students in college, they say that working hard for grades and sort of really struggling to get the grades, they say it's all worth it. But then only less than 10% of the fifth-year students agree with them. So according to Alfie Cohen, who is an American author and lecturer who has explored many different topics in education, parenting and human behavior, who has discussed like topics about grades, homework, and parenting and competition and all that. He says that extensive focus on grades lowers interest in students. And it's kind of true, because when you're only interested in getting a good grade, then you're not trying to learn, and you're not evolving as a person or a student. And also he says, focus on grades lowers, sort of discourages effort, because like students try to pick the easy way out, because like they don't reach their full potential. Kids in institutions where there are no grades and tests will be more encouraged to follow their learning, and they will be more interested, and they will challenge themselves and reach beyond their potential. But then, like some of you might say that, like, what if there's no, like, if you take away the grading system, students might easily as well like slack off, and they might not like feel like they have to study at all. But then, that's just proving that the grading system itself has psychologically undermined the potential of students, because they only try to get a good grade instead of learning, like for your own benefit and to go out into the real world. And it lowers creativity. Yeah, so that's also kind of the same thing. Again, if you only focus on getting good grades, then you don't think creatively, you don't think outside the box, and you don't it sort of like limits your ideas and sort of just puts you in kind of a So, examples to the there's an example in Rhode Island. There's a school called the Met in Rhode Island. The place has no tests, no classes, no grading system. And the interesting thing about this place is that 80% of the graduates from the school go to college, and that's pretty big in the US, I think. And their standardized test scores are way higher than the other California schools and other private schools and all that. So, alternatives to grading system. Because tests, like I talked about, tests aren't always like a perfect reflection of how you're doing in class and how you're progressing as a learner. Also, like I found that if you get a test back, I mean, at least this for me at least, if you get a test back and you get you only kind of look at the grade. Because if you get a bad grade, you'll be like, oh, I got a bad grade, and you'll be like whining and all that. But then if you get a good grade, also you'd be busy showing off to other people or something. So it's kind of you don't learn from your mistakes, and you don't sort of learn from the process of testing. So alternatives to the grading system. Jerome Bruner is the guy who pictured it. He proposed a narrative report, which is basically like instead of testing and grading, the students after a periodic intervals of time, the students sort of give back a narrative report discussing how they're learning, what confusions they have, what troubles they're having in the learning process, and that would sort of benefit everyone in the learning process. And also, what I thought about is projects and personal feedback. If instead of exams or testing, if students indulge in projects and sort of implement their learnings in the real world and sort of learn from that, and when they get personal feedback from teachers, like personal feedback to the student, not to like a report card that goes to parents first and then it comes to the students, because that's kind of screwed up, because parents will pressurize the kids to study more and get good grades and all that. So personal feedback is important. All right. Oh, about the parents' feedback thing. It's kind of funny. Like before this presentation, I talked to a couple of days back. I talked to a lot of people, a lot of our classmates and people and stuff. I was trying to give my speech to them, and then I sort of realized how like all of them agreed with me. So I was kind of confused, because they all said the only reason they care about grades is their parents want them to get good grades or to get a good scholarship or to stay in a scholarship, something of that sort. And then I was, and it's kind of true, because like even right now, if I called up like one of my 5 friends' parents or something, and I told him the exact same speech I gave like for the past 5 minutes, he'd probably like say I'm retarded and tell me to stay away from the sun or something. But then, and in fact, in Thailand and Japan, many schools have a high suicide death rate, as parents pressurize the kids to get good grades, and even if they don't get even if you get like an A minus here, like people there consider it like a big thing and they commit suicide. Right. So what we need to do is basically look at the bigger picture, and yeah, I'm sorry about that. Just look at the bigger picture, and just because in the grand scheme of things, grades don't matter. Like your education is just a pass-fail thing. It doesn't matter what grades you got in high school, or it doesn't matter what grades you got in the process of getting where you're going to be in the future. Thank you.